bringing up more roaches to keep putting pressure on these rocks. At the same time, he's moving other forces to the front, trying to keep David Kim guessing, where are the Zerg going to attack next?
That's right, Matt Cooper is now able to pressure both the back and the front at the same time. We can see a bunch of Banelings getting morphed into play. Will they be able to finish in time? We have a bunch of those Reapers trying to go around and destroy that Roach threat, but it's not looking like it's going to happen. Will we see the Banelings finish? We're probably going to see some DA charges thrown down. Oh, there they are. Here come a bunch of Banelings. Those DA charges.
Oh, terrible, terrible damage on both sides. You can see the Zerg lost almost all of their forces to those D8 charges, to those proximity mines thrown down by the Reapers. At the same time, the Banelings swept in and just took out a huge number of the Terran Marines. You can see the Zerg are trying to press their advantage here and get in, but they don't have a lot of forces left. The Marines have managed to reinforce that bunker, and now the Zerg are just not really able to be very effective with what they have in the field. They got a couple of Roaches. The Marines are dancing around and making them work for it. Looks like a Marauder just came into play. That's going to be the end of that Roach right there, but there is still one Roach loose on the battlefield. You can see it's gotten into the back here, and it's attacking that Marine, and now it's free to attack these SCVs. Here comes a Baneling trying to do some damage, and it does some damage to those SCVs. Not enough to take them all out, but still enough to hurt them very, very badly and allow this Roach to get a lot of free kills on these SCVs.
Now, fortunately enough, Matt Cooper does have burrow research, so he's able to burrow that Roach while it very quickly regenerates its HP. That's going to enable it to recharge and still maintain just as big of a threat as it was in the first place.
Yeah, he's got this Commando Roach here in the back of the Terran base, just tearing up the SCVs, and he's continuing to pressure the Terran's front door, moving in Zerglings against those Marauders. Not a lot of forces moving, a little bit of a waste of an attack here by the Zerg player, but he wants to keep the pressure up, and he wants to try to make sure that the Terrans can't figure out what to do. You see, the Roach is up again, and he's tearing away at those SCVs, killing as many as he can. Meanwhile, the Terrans are moving up some forces, trying to take out that Roach and end this persistent threat.
Oh, and there it goes, burrowing again just in time before that threat can become imminent. We do see an infestation pit is going down for Matt now. He might be going for some higher tech units. We may even see some infestors on the field.
Yeah, infestors would be a powerful choice for the Zerg right now, but it's also a gateway building for him to move into much higher tech units. He can move all the way up to Ultralisks once he gets that infestation pit into play. He needs to improve his lair, but he can really move up. And you can see the Zerg here are burrowed. There's some more Zerglings out on the map. The Terrans are moving out. The Banelings are burrowed on. He decides not to use them quite yet. He's drawing the Terrans out. The Marauders are not the greatest target for the Banelings. Still a pretty good choice. And it looks like the Zerg player is sort of drawing the Terrans out, waiting for him to move to a position where he can really get a lot of kills as cheaply as possible against this Terran advance.
And David Kim is moving up towards that Zelnaga watch area. He wants to take control of the center of the map so that he can see exactly what's going on. If only his units had made it there a few seconds sooner. It's looking like Matt Cooper is going in for a surround. And here he goes. Those Terran units have nowhere to go.
Oh, there's really nowhere for them to run now. It's going to be just all over but for the screaming. Here comes the Banelings moving in, just taking out those Marauders, blowing up, killing everything in sight, and the Zerg once again have just complete control of this battlefield. A few Marines coming way too late, trying to rescue their buddies, don't arrive in time, and they're all torn down by this relentless Zerg attack.
Now, Matt Cooper, again, is maintaining control of the front of David Kim's base. If he is able to keep up his economic advantage, we could really see him contain David Kim until the bitter end.
And you can see he's attacking the back door again here, trying to break through these rocks, and it looks like David Kim has got nothing left to defend these rocks with right now. He's going to have to let them fall, and that's going to give the Zerg another entrance into the Terran base. I don't really see how the Zerg player cannot fail to just overrun the Terrans. He's got more Banelings coming into play, and that supply depot is going to go down very quickly for this Zerg attack.
Now, all these Banelings are just about to finish morphing. We could see them make it right into David Kim's resource line and destroy a ton of SCVs. Here go the Zerglings. They're trying to lead the way here. Oh, and a couple Marauders and some Marines make it into some bunkers. It's looking like those Zerglings cannot pursue.
Yeah, David Kim realized the threat and the danger was in there. He put up some bunkers very, very quickly to allow him to defend his base there. He knew he was not going to be able to protect those rocks anymore and that they were going to fall eventually. So he has put up some bunkers to allow him to defend himself. Meanwhile, the Zerg are moving here to the front door, trying to see what kind of threat they can offer. But this has bought David Kim some time to move his troops around inside his base. So he's free because the Zerg player's taking a little too long here to press his attack to move his troops around and protect himself however he chooses.
Now, back over on production, we can see that the Zerglings are researching faster movements so that they can run around a little quicker. Matt Cooper being extra careful to make sure that David Kim cannot look around the rest of the map.
He's got total control right now. He does not want the Terran player to understand what's going on right now. And the Terran player has no idea. There's another expansion going up here for the Zerg right now. He doesn't know about it. And it looks like the Zerg are really in command of the map right now, able to do as they please with this force right in front of the Terran base.
We do see a couple infestors coming into play. Now, David Kim does not want any more Commando Roaches up in his natural expansion, so we did see a couple of missile turrets going down over there. We do see that David Kim now has worked all the way up to Banshees.
Right, he's really bought himself a lot of time here with all of these delays. The Zerg are not that high tech yet, and the Banshees are coming out. This is a gunship for the Terran player that's very, very effective against ground units. Not a lot of anti-air in the game right now for the Zerg. It's going to make the Zerg very, very vulnerable to these Banshees. If he can get them into play, they can do a lot of damage to the Zerg right now. So the Terrans not out of the game yet. They're still in a position where their technology could really come into play, and they could really maybe sort of drive off this force that's been harassing them for the whole game.
And here comes Matthew Cooper. He's scouting out the rest of the map as well because he's not sure if possibly David Kim had already built a command center and floated it over to one of these locations.
Yeah, it's so hard with the Terrans to know what exactly is going on with their medevacs and all of the choices they have. It's very easy for the Terrans to sometimes sneak some buildings around the map and hide them in places where you least expect them. You saw those Banshees flying by overhead. Not a lot of Banshees moving out here from the Terrans, but he is in a bad position. He needs to try to put some pressure back on the Zerg, and this is what he needs to find and destroy. What a great move by the Terran player, using these Banshees to find this expansion and forcing this expansion, just destroying this expansion entirely and forcing it out of the game.
And we can see David Kim continue to pressure into Matthew Cooper's base. We can see them flying overhead. He is going to use this air advantage to the best of his ability. We can see them coming over here headed straight for the infestation pit.
Yeah, he's moving right towards doing the damage he can. You can see there's one Hydra's can play. That's not a lot of forces. Oh, some infested Terrans being laid down by the Infestor. These guys are not that effective in combat, but they do have a rifle that can shoot air, and that's what the Zerg player needs desperately right now. He needs some anti-air. So he uses those infested Terrans as a soft counter to kind of get some forces into play. And here comes some Zerglings and Roaches trying to move out onto the map. They encounter the Banshees. They can't do anything against those Banshees, so they're forced to burrow and hide underground. Oh, and here comes some Nighthawks into play, using these new caster units, these new drone units for the Terrans. He's going to be able to use these to cast a variety of different spells against the Zerg. He's going to be able to create auto turrets anywhere he wants. He's going to be able to use a new ability called Hunter Seeker Missile, which moves very, very slowly, but does a lot of damage if you don't run for it. And you can see the Banshees and the Nighthawks are sort of dancing around in front here, trying to see what kind of advantage they can get over this planet. Oh, there's some Banelings take out a whole bunch of Marines as these Marines try to move up to reinforce their air units.
Now we can see from the back door we do have David Kim moving in a couple of Marauders, a few more Marines, and those Nighthawks are coming back into play. That means that Infestor is probably going to go down in just a few seconds because those Nighthawks are detectors. They can see that Infestor burrow down
so
the ground.
that's a lot of control lost for the Zerg player there. Now he does not have control of the front of the Terran base, and the Terrans are pushing out on the map, sort of doing what they want to do. They're backing up a little bit here, gathering their forces, but the Zerg player has lost a little bit of his board control. He was in absolute dominant control up until now, and it looks like the Terran player is making a little bit of a comeback here with his Nighthawks, his Marauders, and his Marines pushing onto the board, trying to see what kind of damage he can do against this persistent Zerg player.
Now David Kim is moving into the long haul. We can see him building 4 more barracks, bringing them out onto the battlefield. We do see that Matthew Cooper is bringing in these Hydralisks, taking down a few of those Banshees. These Hydralisks are very strong against air units because they do deal 6 bonus damage per spine.
Yeah, they're very, very dangerous, and that's the threat he doesn't want to deal with right now. So he managed to drop one Banshee. Oh, and here's a battle moving in against the Terran player. There's a lot of Zerglings and a lot of Roaches moving in, and you can see the Hunter Seekers moving against the Hydras. Oh, tons and tons of damage against those Hydras as the Nighthawks back up, trying to avoid the worst of the damage. And it looks like the Terran player is going to lose this battle. They did a lot of damage to those Zerg forces in the fight.
So Matt Cooper is moving back up towards the front of the base. He does not want to lose that contain that he had on David Kim. It's very, very important to keep David Kim as contained as possible in his base because Matt Cooper, as we can see, has been falling behind on unit count.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of units right now, and he's even a little bit behind on the resourcing as well. A little bit of an aggressive move by the Zerg player. Yeah, that was not a good move, and he sees it right away and decides to back away. Those Hydras are upgraded. They're moving more faster than they would ordinarily. It gives him an advantage. You can see there's one SCV scouting around the map, managed to take it down, and here comes the last Banshee taken out by the Zerg, as it looks like another battle is about to begin here in the middle of the board.
Now we have a few more Marines and those Nighthawks coming into play. We're going to see some more Hunter Seeker missiles because they are so effective. Here comes one across the map. Oh, was not good news for that Roach.
Yeah, it took a lot of damage on those Roaches, but still, the Roaches generate so quickly. I'm not sure he got a lot of gains. Here comes another one moving in, and you can see the Roaches don't like it. They're trying to get away. He's not sure if this will block it or not. He burrows and tries to block it. Doesn't work. He takes the hit from the missile, and it looks like the Zergers are dancing around in front of the base here, trying to do what damage they can. And the Hydras, of course, would love to get a shot off at those Nighthawks and take them down. And the Marines, a little too aggressive here, are going to encounter a lot of Roaches, and they're going to encounter a lot of Zerglings.
Ooh, but David Kim is prepared with some backup. He's moving in now 5 Nighthawks into play. We can't see Matt Cooper trying to focus down those Nighthawks. We see a couple more Hunter Seeker missiles. They're able to take down 1 unit each, and they do some splash damage, so it makes the rest of the units much easier for those Marauders and Marines to take out.
What a great use of the Hunter Seeker missile. This is a new ability that just went in a couple of weeks ago. Neither player is quite sure how to deal with it yet. You can see the Terran player is using it very, very effectively, just tearing up this Zerg force again and again and again with these Hunter Seekers. The Zerg player, of course, needs to sort of press the attack. He's trying, but he needs to be able to successfully press the attack so the energy on those Nighthawks doesn't regenerate. The Terran player is getting a lot of bonuses right now because he gives a lot of time to regenerate the energy on those Nighthawks, so he's getting off a lot more Hunter-Seekers than ordinarily he could be expected to get.
Now, the Terran player, using all of that space that Matthew Cooper is giving him, now has a second expansion, in addition to having almost double the amount of workers that Matthew Cooper has.
You see the Overlord tried to spread creep there in time to prevent the expansion, but he missed it by a little bit, and the command center does go down. It looks like the Terrans are now on the push, moving up towards the Zerg base here, and here come the Zerg with a lot of Hydralisks